All right, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me again.
Awesome. And we have the one and only Phil on the show. Phil, welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology, all the way from Maryland.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, man, of course. So the show is all about you, your business, technology. I have your Instagram up. I have your website behind me. I was checking you out, dude. I love how you start off with a stitch on the jokes. I feel like, we need to have something that switches things up, changes things up, and makes it fun. The good old traditional, like, hi, I'm so-and-so at so-and-so real estate. Boring. So I want to deep dive into that. To get started, let's talk about you, man. Let's talk about like how long you've been in the business, what made you get in the business, to kind of give us a foundation of a little bit of your story.
All right, fantastic. Love to. So I've been a real estate agent this is my 5th year. I got involved in real estate about 15 years ago. I used to own a mortgage company, left the mortgage industry, shifted into direct sales, did some real estate investing during that time. Sold my direct sales business and then decided, my wife actually decided that we would become real estate agents. So my take was, if we're going to do this, let's go big. Let's not think real estate agent. Let's think real estate company. Let's just decide in that moment that we were going to be a company as opposed to a traditional agent. And then we worked and treated everything that way. And I think that has had a lot to do with the success that we've had over the past just under 5 years.
Wow, I absolutely love that. And I think that's a big difference between an agent that feels that they work with or for someone at a brokerage or what have you, than thinking about their business like a big business and actually operating like a business. Because then also you can kind of get into those tech books and look at business, marketing. It's all there. It's all there. I love that. So a couple last questions before we get into the mix-up round, Dan, to get into a little bit more of the technology you're using and techniques you're using to market your business. So basically on the side, so I saw on your Instagram, congratulations, 200+ million in sales. That's phenomenal. That's huge. So are you focusing more on the buy side, sell side? You work with both buy side, sell side. How does that make up your business?
Very much both. Obviously, listings tend to control the market, but there is a perspective that, with a limited amount of listings right now, it's great to have a bunch, but if you can find those ready buyers, like truly ready buyers right now, and then go outside of the box to find the listings, in my opinion, that's a great tool to control the market as well. I don't feel that I need to sell a house to a buyer that's on the market. I think that I need to go outside of the box and find the seller that's not on the market who has the perfect house for my buyer. It's a little more work, but the approach ends up yielding a better result.
Yes.
Yeah. Reverse marketing.
Yeah,
Great.
Reverse marketing for sure. And at the end of the day, it's just like, back in 2008, REO specialist was all over the place because of the bank-owned properties and what happened in that type of territory. And that's the same thing now. I tell agents all the time, I said, hey, there's 3 target demographics. You got empty nester, distressed property seller, and someone who's looking to get a single family residence out of a big city because they can work remote. I always tell them, like, that's what you could be focusing on. I love that, man. I love that. So I know you have a team. Sounds like you were working with a little bit of both on that side. What separates you? I mean, I can go on your Instagram and already pretty much identify that. For anyone who's listening or watching right now that doesn't know who you are, links below, of course. Go check this man out. But what separates you? What do you do differently, a part of like treating your real estate business like a business to be able to attract these sellers?
I think a lot of what we do is, first we started with a very hustle pillar approach, whether it was just me, and then as we built out the team, just working harder than other people, every single day, all day, really committed to the craft, but then also turning things into a very top of mind focused business. I like to make sure that for example, a lot of people think, well, I need to sell a house. So when I sell a house, I need to get an offer. We take a very different approach. My mindset is I need to get your house in front of the most people possible. That's where tech tends to come in. That's where the media concept tends to come in. If we can put the house in front of more people, the offers will come by default. So one of the things I think that makes us different is brand and marketing, right? So if you take a marketing and a branding focused approach on every single house, how can I take this single home and turn it into something so desirable, create a connection? Because that's all that we've ever had. Like when you think about growing up, we find that our favorite television show because somehow we connected to it. I need to treat your house like that. I need to create this connection with potential buyers that just draws them in and, oh man, I have to have it. I have to have it. I have to have it. If I do that with enough people, I get the bidding war. I get the fight to pay more and everything else. And then it turns into something where the sellers are happy.
Wow. I love that. That's a really good technique. And it's nice too, because I'm sure by default, these individual buyers are going to turn into probably long-term clients because they found you or saw a video from an online technology standpoint, which then from them is going to be like, dude, no brainer. Like Phil's crushing it. I love the way he's marketing. Yep. And you're making people feel something, even from those cool, like quirky, fun, like jokes. It makes you remember you and it makes you feel something, which you'll never forget the way someone makes you feel. I absolutely love that. That's great. Last question for me before we go to the mix-up rounds with Dan. What's that one thing that you would say you adapted to over the years of being in the business now that's really served your business on the technology forefront? So
specifically on a technology forefront, I think probably the biggest thing that we've adapted to is not over-adapting. And what I mean by that is the concept of innovation is amazing. I always want to have, because naturally I'm a techie, I'm a nerd. Okay. So I love the latest and greatest thing, but the latest and greatest thing isn't always the best thing for our business, or in my opinion, anyone's business. I think that what's important is understanding when you already have what works. And even if it's last year's model, it doesn't mean something's wrong with it. But then also accepting when you don't have what works, and then getting out there and testing and implementing the things that may work until you find the right thing. So being willing to adapt and not over adapt, in my opinion, has really, really helped us.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
That's huge. I love that. So getting into the next part of our episode, we like to go into a mix-up round. So we're going to change up the camera angle here. It's going to be on the speaker. Dan's going to go ahead and deep dive into a little of the technology that you're using for any reviewers and listeners out there that may want to take note and potentially use same tech.
Nice. Thanks, Norman.
Yeah.
Phil, like, what would you say your top 3 lead sources are right now?
Most like number one is certainly past client business, referral business. You know, we have spent the past just under 5 years really building up a connection with our clients that lives beyond the sale. And it's allowed us to consistently get reoccurring business. Number 2, top of mind marketing, social media all the way, just really understanding that you don't actually have to be on $1 million listing New York or $1 million listing LA.
Ryan Serhant.
Yeah, I know.
Listen
right?
up, peeps.
Love Ryan Serhant.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be on those shows in order to elevate your business to those levels, because those shows are currently in the form of YouTube. The question is, will you put out enough consistent content in order to get the reaction and the respect and the trust? Right? Yep. That trust.
Yeah.
And then number 3 would be our hustle. The hustle I put into open houses, door knocking, mailers, farming, like that traditional hustle pillar, calling the expireds, things like that. That's definitely that number 3 that a lot of people, I mean, quite frankly, aren't willing to do anymore. Some people frown on. But to me, the fundamentals of what real estate is, it's just like basketball. If you want to learn to shoot a 3, the first thing you need to do is figure out how to dribble from one end of the court to the 3-point line. Yeah. So let's dribble, let's get great dribbling.
I talk to so many agents and they're like, oh, I don't cold call. Like, yeah, right. I would never do that. And I'm just like, what? Your job is to make relationships and build a pipeline of people that want to work with you and want to be friends with you. So no, I get it.
Here's a question. For me in Maryland, if you don't want to cold call, don't, because then I'll call them for you.
Exactly.
Amen.
No, exactly. Is there any piece of technology that you guys have integrated in your business in the last 1 to 2 years that really have helped efficiency or, bottom line growth, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that Obviously, having the right people around us. We have an operations manager, we have a COO, we have a marketing manager, we have videographers, photographers, that style thing. But just strictly on the tech side, Google has been a huge bump for us over the past few months, even just really getting a better handle on Google, our business page, local service ads, things like that. Really understanding how to work with those and develop those into something that generates leads for us has been huge. We recently signed up with Sisu. I'm very excited about Sisu. We're breaking that down right now. The reason I'm so pumped about that is because we have a CRM, LionDesk. However, we currently build out most of our business through numbers, like max version of Excel. And we've got an incredible spreadsheet that really fully functions our entire business, everything, projections, income, everything you can think of, all across the board. Sisu allows us to literally hand them that, and they build it out into a functional, gamification focused, really just a motivation, step-by-step growth factor. And then everything's always there. So an individual agent is going to have the ability to say, here's where I am on scale against other agents. Here I am on scale against my goals. But then on the back end, we're able to track everything. And that is the biggest thing for us. Our tracking, like literally knowing every single number, is so darn important to us. So that's a big deal. Yeah.
Wow.
I was
speaking more about this.
Yeah, no, I think we may want to reach out to him as a sponsor for our next event, because that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Those KPIs and metrics, and I used to be a director of operations at a brokerage, and when a new agent would come in, we'd always say to ourselves, like, all right, let's reverse engineer where you want to be this year, 3 years, 5 years. If we don't know your metrics, how many calls you make, how many buy side, sell side, how many contacts, how big is your database, what are you doing weekly, daily? It all makes sense. And most, like, to be very honest, like 80-90% of agents are like, oh, I don't want to think about that. I just want to sell real estate.
Yeah. I mean, that's like saying I want to own a McDonald's, but I don't want to think about the cost of a hamburger. Like you know everything,
Come on, people.
I want to know what one single French fry costs. I want to know my margins on a very single French fry. Then I can get nitty gritty and really figure out where to put my money, where not to put my money, things like that. What technology to invest in? What's the potential return on that tech? And then I want to spend a testing period. I don't want to spend 30 days testing. I want to go, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters testing a piece of tech or a system and really figure out, is it actually working?
Yeah.
No, agents either do 2 things. They don't give it enough time. They don't monitor it. Or number 3, they just throw money at it and hope that somebody else will do it for them. And then
what sticks?
That's the game. But no, that's my mix-up round. I think you answered a few of my other questions in the dialogue of all this, and I think that new tool that we hear the same names over and over by top agents, and as that adaption comes in, the efficiency comes with it. So that's awesome. Back to Norm.
I love it, man. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate that. And Phil, you really hit the nail on the head in regards to what I heard in that round was the traditional door knocking, FISBOs, door hangers, open houses, doing that, but then doing a mix up round, no point intended, with the tech, right? Getting into the tech, going through that process, doing that. And one thing that I want our viewers and listeners to take from this episode specifically is Sisu and being proactive, right? Because we're working on a huge annual event. And who knows, maybe we're looking at one of our keynote speakers here. And so, being proactive and already going on Google and pulling it up. So as soon as we're done with this episode, putting it into action. And I think that's the difference between someone who's successful and who someone is not successful, but they're just reactionary instead of proactionary. Right. So I love that. So I got a couple more questions before we close out, and we're going to open up the floor to you to just give it to our viewers and listeners and tell them what you want to tell them to take from our episode. And so a couple last things for me, expert. So do you do anything in your specific market in Maryland to like take over kind of a farm or be a community leader or be an expert, which is an authority in your specific market with what you're doing from videos, technology, and so on and so forth?
I think primarily from video. I mean, I think we all have this opportunity to really get out there in video and being that hyper local expert, whatever that means to you. You know, I live in Annapolis, Maryland, but the truth is we service as a team the entire state of Maryland. So oftentimes I'm not specifically talking about Annapolis, but my hyper local market is our state. We have agents spread out into a place where we can service the whole state. So talking about the state in different capacity and really, again, building the connection through video, starting off with that, you know, that just I'm a regular person like you, and then turning it into here's that knowledge and value that I can offer you tends to really work for us. You know, I don't ever want to just shoot content for the sake of shooting content. I want to make sure I'm always adding value. I'm always being willing to educate, giving a piece of myself. And despite what I hear a lot of people say all the time, not saying one is right or one is wrong, I'm not always adding the call to action. I'm not always asking for something. Sometimes I just want to give. And I want to give without expecting anything back. Because the idea is this, I used to say this all the time, Microsoft did it first, Apple did it better, right? Like that's my perspective, right? I don't need to be first to market. I just need to be the one you remember. And not the one you remember by putting out content, being hyper consistent, being authentic, vulnerable, empathetic, really understanding how to connect with people. So making it a point to use all the technology to work through here and here, that's where I win.
Wow, that's amazing. 7 Triggers to Yes. If anyone wants to read a book that talks exactly about your approach and what you're doing, because it isn't always about that call to action. It's just about showing up, showing out, adding value, you know, being top of mind, and let what happens. I absolutely love that. So I like how you're focused on the whole entire area. You're not just focused on one specific thing. If I was to list you, last question from my side for open the floor up. If I was to basically list my home with you, what's your secret weapon? What's that thing that would make me feel confident? It's like, all right, Phil's my guy.
Everything we do is going to be built on marketing your home. Now, marketing your home is not just marketing the 4 walls. It's marketing your home, marketing everything around your home, and then creating an experience. The idea is this: someone's going to go online and they're going to first start by saying, where do I want to live? After that, they're going to say, how much can I pay? Everything to come after that is based on what we show them. So I need to build a connection through photo, video, tours, and copy that make them say, I have to get at that house, not I want. Because the idea of I want to go to that house means if I have time, I'll go. I have to get at that house means I'll make time to go. So I've got to get great at that marketing aspect. And then I also need to get great at helping you make sure that when they get there, it's going to live up to the hype, because I'm going to do my job. But if they get there and the lines in the carpet aren't vacuumed, we have a problem. I want somebody to walk through there and feel like they're the first feet to ever touch that carpet. You know, and it's the little thing, it's the hyper attention, the detail, you know, all that really plays a role. But I believe marketing sells homes. I believe that if I can create a brand simply for your house, we're going to win across the board.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. You got my business, man. You got my business.
Thank you.
I absolutely love it. And it makes the difference between making 400,000 or 450,000. And if anyone has watched other episodes, that was where I was at, and marketing makes a big difference. And I'm definitely testimonial for that. So we're at the start part of the show where the floor is open. So what do you want our viewers and listeners to take from this episode?
You know, a couple of things. One, if you're a real estate agent, just understand, I had never been a real estate agent before. I had been a business owner. I think that as an agent, what you really have to do is ask yourself, what level of success do I want to be at? And then be okay with that answer. There's always going to be someone doing more than you. You know, this year we're going to sell, you know, it's our second year as a team, guys. And we're going to finish, I believe, about 140 million in sales in a price area where our average price point is $450,000.
It's huge.
But yeah, I mean, and it's great and it feels good, but there's someone that's going to finish at 200 million. Someone's going to finish at 250. And I'm looking at that, and my opinion is that people should look at that and say, look, that doesn't mean I'm not killing it. It just means I've got more work to do. Stay in hustle mode, stay in work mode, stay in learn mode. Every day you wake up, you got to focus on what am I doing to get better? And I mean every day, 7 days a week, because time's going to run out at some point, and you got to put in the effort. And don't be scared of the tech. I know that there's a lot of agents out there that are insanely comfortable where they are. Don't be scared to expand. Invest a little more in the next thing that can help your business, not the next hype, but the next thing that can truly help your business. And then honor that commitment you made. Because Dan, you touched on it. Like, hey, just throw it up against the wall. Someone will do it for me. That's never going to do it, right? Like, if you're going to commit, if you're going to put that money and you're going to take that money out of your family's food mouth, right? And you're going to commit to the tech, goodness, you got to pour in 110% to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. And that's what is really drives this show is someone like yourself. And it's our intention to always strive for excellence. The individuals like yourself that are leading by example, you have that unwavering belief that you're going to hit what you're going to hit no matter what. And it doesn't always mean that you're just going to
don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
What you can do.
I love that.
And don't let someone tell you can't do it. I mean, there's a lot of people in real estate already have their opinion on what can be done. If I would have listened to those guys, I'd be a single agent today making a little bit of money. You know, everybody can have the best intentions in the world, but look, I'm going to tell you what can be done. Whatever the hell you say can be done. That's what can be done. Now go do it.
Yep.
What you say becomes real. I love that, man. Well, man,
great to meet you, Phil.
Yeah. Thank you. You guys too.
Yeah, likewise. So we appreciate Phil being on today's episode. Dan, as always, thanks for co-hosting.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a pleasure, Phil. Keep me in mind if you're on the West Coast. Let's meet up.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
I love it. And thanks to all of our viewers and listeners, as it is our intention for you to take some of our episodes to have more massive success that you can apply to your business, and we will see you on the next one.
You made it to the end. Well, thank you so much for watching Real Estate vs. Technology. We hope you found value, especially something you can apply to your real estate business. If you could do us a favor, we would appreciate it. A thumbs up. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell, you'll be notified for new episodes coming out, and comment below. What the heck did you learn? If you want to join our Facebook group page, there's a link right here. And if you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, send us a DM on our Instagram page. We'll see if we get you on the show. So, take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.